So to draw the Lewis structure for an atom, you will need to account for all valence electrons. Be sure that if electrons are paired, they are paired in the Lewis structure. When drawing Lewis structures, you only show the valence electrons because those are the electrons involved in bonding. Everything in this first column has one valence electron. This column has two valence electrons. Everything in the middle technically has two valence electrons. This column is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, with the exception of helium, which only has 2. So lithium is in this first column, so it has one valence electron. So you're going to have one dot to represent lithium atom. For boron, again, these are atoms, so they don't have charges. Boron has 1, 2, 3 valence electrons. So when doing your dots, the most you're going to have is 8 going around it, because that's the most valence electrons anything comes in with. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for your dots. So boron, the first two should be paired, because if I was to write boron's electron configuration, shorthand, it would be helium, 3s2, and then 3p1. Its 3s orbital has its first two electrons paired, so they should be paired here. And then in the 3p, notice we have 1. If we were to add more, we would go 1, 2, 3. There's my 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's why the first two are paired, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is representing the s orbitals, and then these are the 3p orbitals. So boron has 2, and then a third one. Technically, you can put that third dot on the top or the left, as long as it's not on the right side. So go ahead and pause the video and try drawing these Lewis dot structures for these atoms by yourself. Restart when you have your answers. So carbon should have had 4 valence electrons. Bismuth should have 5 valence electrons. Oxygen should have 6 valence electrons. And arsenic should also have 5 valence electrons. So the first thing you should have figured out was how many valence electrons your atom has. Next, you draw the symbol of the atom, so carbon, and then you add your dots. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You should have 2 that are paired, 2 that are unpaired. Oxygen is O. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 that are paired are 2 sets that are paired and 2 that are by themselves. Bismuth is Bi, and we should have 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since arsenic also has 5, arsenic should look exactly like bismuth, just with a different symbol. For ions, you have to remember that metals lose electrons to form positively charged cations. To draw a Lewis structure for a cation, you remove the same number of electrons as the charge, and then make sure you put a charge on the Lewis structure. So calcium atom looked like so, because calcium came in with 2 valence electrons. But calcium always makes a +2 charge. And if it's a +2 charge, it's going to lose 2 electrons. It's going to lose the 2 that it had. So this is the Lewis structure for calcium ion. It shouldn't have any dots. So go ahead and pause the video and try sodium ion on your own. Restart when you have your answer. So sodium atom had 1 dot. Sodium ion should have a +1. And it should no longer have any dots. Nonmetals are going to gain electrons to form negatively charged anions. So to draw the Lewis structure, gained electrons are going to be added as an X to distinguish them, and make sure that you also put a charge on the Lewis structure. So sometimes you won't see them being shown as X's. We're just showing them as X's now so you can see the difference. So nitrogen, so nitride ion is nitrogen with a -3. Nitrogen came in with 5 electrons. And then it's a -3, which means it's going to gain 1, 2, 3 electrons. We're going to bracket that and put a charge on the outside. So positive ions should have no dots and a charge, and negative ions are going to have dots and X's. The total or the sum of those should give you 8 with a bracket and a charge. I'm going to pause the video and redo the next one on your own. Restart when you have your answer. So sulfide ion is S-2. These are ions. So sulfur came in with 6. And then it has a -2 charge, so it should gain 2. And then your overall charge is a -2.